Good morning and welcome to Morning Moments. I am so glad that you joined us again. We have a recording artist and a family that has been in the music industry since 1959. It's my pleasure to bring John Kelly of the Kellys. Welcome, John, to Morning Moments.
It's awesome to be here, brother. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Tell me what you do and why you do it. You've been doing it for a long time, I hear.
We have been, we're the Kellys from Lawrenceburg, Tennessee, which is the birthplace of Southern gospel music. It all started here in our hometown by a guy by the name of James Devon. And if you look in your hymnal, church hymnal, if you have the redback hymnal, you'll see James Devon's name in there. He started quartet singing here many years ago, back in the early 1900s, had many quartets, and then he sold songbooks, and the quartets would go out and sing the songbook, sing songs out of the songbooks, and they would sell the books. And that's how the James Devon got started. My mom and dad started this group, the Kellys, in 1959. Him and my mom and his brother and his wife and my grandmother. My grandmother was 94 when she passed. She played the piano at her church until the week before she passed. She started playing the piano there when she was 15. She gave piano lessons, and they began to sing around the piano. They'd come in, mom and dad say they'd come in from the field, and they'd gather around the piano. My grandmother would always say, "We got to sing a song." So they'd stand around and sing for, mom and dad said, for hours. And then there's some people that invited them to their home to sing. And mom and dad would go there and sing, and they'd invite all their friends to come, and did that for some years. And then there was one Saturday night they were there singing, and they had invited some people from Franklin, Tennessee, which is just south of Nashville. And they were there, and so they heard mom and dad sing, and they invited them to their church. Dad said they went there and sung, and they had 7 churches that invited them to come and sing at their church. And so that's how we got started. And, for 62 years, we've sung many churches, many concert halls. And as they began to sing some, me and my brother came along. My brother is 8 years older than me, and he started playing the bass guitar. Then I came along, was born in 60, and in 65, mom and dad gave me a snare drum to play. And played the drums until I was 17. And as I grew through those years, mom and dad got me a whole set, man. I had cymbals and toms, and I was so excited. And as I got to be a little bit older, 13 and 14, mom and dad began to tell me how terrible I was at the age of 5 years old, beating on a snare drum. But I'm thankful today for mom and dad that taught me about Jesus and took me to church. And they didn't tell me to sit down. They just said, you got to play a little quieter. So we had a full band up until 2015, 14 or 15. We carried a band, a piano player, bass player for all them years. And then in the early 80s, Minnie Paul, which is my aunt, and my mom decided to quit. So Jim and my dad started the male quartet. And I played the drums, had a male quartet, and then my Uncle Jim decided to quit in 1977. And Dad looked at me and he said, "Hey, you're going to have to start singing." And I had never sung any. I just beat on the pews at church when we'd sing, you go to church on Sunday morning, and I'd play the drums. And I began to do that, and man, I struggled. I'd want to sing the person's part beside of me. If I could hear their part, I would sing their part. So, but I kept pushing along, and we kept just working and rehearsing, and I finally figured out what my part was, and so I've been just singing that part, the lead part in the quartet since '77. The group consists today of we've had many people. I kept a roster of all the people that's been through the Kellys in the 62 years, and there's been 66 people that have been through the Kellys over those years. we've had some great opportunities. We've opened up with for the Oak Ridge Boys back in the 80s and in early 70s. We'd do some concerts with them. And man, I still got the drumstick. I was sitting backstage and Mark Ellerby, the drummer at that time, broke a stick and he threw it at me. And I caught it and I got his autograph and I still have that today. And so that was some big things that the Kellys got to be a part of. Sung on a lot of TV programs back when Tammy Faye and Jim Baker was on PTL back years in the early 90s. We were a part of, or early 80s. We went and did those programs with them and got to do that. In the mid 80s, we had our own TV program in Florence, Alabama that aired every Saturday night for 30 minutes. And we would go down on Fridays and record those. And man, we just had a great, God has just blessed our ministry over the years. And today I have the quartet is Paul Walters sing the tenor. Paul's 57 years old. Yesterday was his birthday and he joined our group 35 years ago on his birthday. So yesterday we celebrated his birthday singing together like we did 35 years ago. I have a bass singer that's he's 48. He's been here 22 years, and he lives in Mount Pleasant, Tennessee, which is just north of Lawrenceburg. And then I have a baritone singer, Keith Wortham. Keith, I always say, has been here over half his life. I met Keith. We were singing at a church in Bell Buckle, Tennessee, and Keith was standing in the very back pew. He was 5 years old, and I watched him, and as we would sing them old songs, he would sing along with us. So I stopped in the middle of one of the songs and I said, "Hey, would the little boy in the back want to come and sing?" And he jumped down out of the pew, ran down the aisle, and I picked him up and held him, and we sung some old songs. But I didn't know God would have a plan that 10 years later, he'd let him join our group at the age of 15. He's 32 now. And he's been with me. These guys have just been with me a long time. And if you follow Southern Gospel, there's a lot of changeover in Southern Gospel. But I've just been blessed to have some great guys that just hang in there. We travel 90 to 110 dates a year. We travel Arkansas, Georgia, Alabama, Kentucky, Mississippi, and used to do some stuff up in Illinois and Indiana, but haven't been there in a few years. But man, our goal is to see people saved. And like I always say, our little motto is we're spreading the word through music. And if we can see one person saved, then it's worth every mile we travel all year. And I just give God the praise that he's let me do this for 62 years. And I'm going to keep singing as long as he allows us and gives us places to go.
You know, it's like the old Happy Goodman song, "I don't regret a mile I've traveled for the Lord," right?
Amen. Amen. That's right.
Yeah. Well, it's exciting to hear somebody with longevity of in a group and longevity of service. There's so many who start the journey and end it quickly like a sprint. And God intends for us to finish the race. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And it's exciting to see the faithfulness of those who just keep plugging away. And it gives great encouragement to the younger groups as well, and younger folks that come and say, years from now, I want to be able to say the same thing. John, it's a thrill to be able to meet you and to find out about your group. I'm going to put your information down below in the Facebook comment section.
Yes.
So folks can follow you. They could maybe purchase your albums and your products, to find out more about you, maybe come to see you when they're in the area now that we're going back out to concerts again, so that they can actually see your concert and hear your ministry. But more important than any of that, I want folks, when they see the word Kelly, is to think of you guys and pray for you. So God would continue to have you do the work that you're doing. It's really great to hear. Well, you have any closing thoughts about maybe things that the Lord's have been telling you during these times?
Well, to me, my family last year had COVID. My wife was very sick. She ran a temperature for 14 days, never dropped under 100. I may get teary eyed here, but and then my oldest daughter was in the hospital for 7 days. My youngest daughter had it. My son-in-law had it for 22 days. Uh, I never had it, or I had it, but I never had any symptoms at all. And I give God the praise. But I just say we're going through the last days. And if you don't know Jesus, then you need to come to know him. And because he's coming, and he's coming very soon. And what matters when that day comes is that you've had a relationship with him. It's not a Sunday relationship. It's a 7-day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday relationship. And if you don't know him, please come to know him before it's too late, because he's coming.
Well, couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me, John, and thank you for joining me for Morning Moments. If you've enjoyed this interview, please pass it on in your Facebook, and also pass on the YouTube interview that's on my YouTube channel, and pass this good news on. And may God richly bless you, John, you and your ministry.
Thank you so much, Andy. Thank you for what you do here to reach out to people that would probably never hear about me or our group. And I just want to say thanks. Bless your ministry, and I'll be praying for you that this continues and you reach people that are lost.
Thank you.